Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions back again with another gameplay commentary. And before we jump into the topic, the Lefty Show is on for tonight. We will be minus my regular co-host, Dr. Chiz, and probably Little Miss Katie as well, as we've talked about the aforementioned work scheduling issues. I'm going to be flying the ship solo, thinking about grabbing somebody else as maybe a co-host, but the show is probably like 85 to 95%. I'm not 85 to 95% certain the show is going to be shortened in length. Normally we try to run about 2 hours, but usually when I'm rolling solo, or even if I'm trying to grab a new a guest host, I'm probably going to shorten it to about 45 minutes to an hour. Somewhere around there, that's what we're going to be looking at for the show time. But we will begin at our normal time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 p.m. on the Pacific Coast of North America. And if you are in Europe, Greenwich Mean Time is 6 hours ahead, I believe, of Central Standard Time. So we're looking at about a 2 a.m. start time for people in the UK and Greenwich Mean Time. And then you can do the rest of the math from there if you're in other parts of Europe. So yeah, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here, Lefty Show. Maybe a guest host, maybe calling viewers, maybe doing all kinds of Ask Me Anything interactive stuff in a shortened show, but it should be a great one. Should be a lot of fun. So be sure to be here, my channel right here, youtube.com/LeftyOX, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is again for European guys, it's 2 a.m. I believe in Greenwich Mean Time. But anyway, I want to talk about, speaking of the Lefty Show, I want to talk about tech issues. I was on PKA last night, and Woody is a guy. Woody and I talk usually a good bit before the show. He's a great guy to talk to about microphones and tech issues and stuff about putting on a show. And we talk a lot about stuff like that and kind of behind the scenes YouTube stuff. And last night on the show, there were tech issues. Woody had some microphone audio level issues. He was trying to. People were complaining about audio desync, and in an effort to fix it, he accidentally closed out of the Google Hangout, and that killed his camera, and that also changed the audio levels of probably XSplit if I had to diagnose it. Everybody was getting on him, so I just didn't want to throw my 2 cents in and piss him off even more, because I understand what it's like to have tech issues, and that's what this video is about. I don't know if Woody's catching a lot of heat for it or catching any heat at all, because he did go on a little mini rant that I think some people would really not get as a joke. He was joking, but I think some people were kind of like, oh man, is he just yelling at us? Is he yelling at people? He wasn't. But I want to really inform you guys about the frustration that comes from that, why he was so frustrated, because that frustration isn't born from him being a bad guy or mean to his viewers or subscribers or whatever, but it's born rather from him wanting to put on a seamless show. I said this during the show last night, but I don't know if many people hear it because, again, there were audio issues, but it's born from him wanting to put on a seamless show, and that's with a lot of YouTubers, whether it be a streamer. In live streaming and putting on the Lefty Show, I've dealt with that. I know a lot of other people have as well. It's about putting on a seamless show in our minds as YouTubers, as showmen, as entertainers. However bad we may be at actually being showmen and entertainers, we have this idea of how the show is going to go, how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to sound, how it's supposed to proceed, how it's supposed to begin, how it's supposed to end, etc., etc. And in our mind, it always runs perfectly, no issues whatsoever. But then to be the person that is actually to flash forward and actually be the person that's running a stream or putting on a show and running and producing the show, but also having to act as a talent and entertainer on the show, and then to have tech issues on top of that, and then everybody talk about the tech issues is certainly demoralizing. And it's twofold, because all of a sudden everybody starts talking about the tech issues that they perceive. Because again, viewers, and this is not a knock against viewers, but viewers are most of the time incapable of removing themselves and understanding that their experience is part of a collective, because every viewer's experience to themselves, it's kind of selfish, but can't blame them. It's an individual experience. I'm experiencing tech issues on my end. I have to tell Woody or Lefty about it. But in reality, it's a collective thing. A lot of other people may be experiencing the same tech issues, and a lot of those same people are telling Woody and or Lefty or whomever else about it. And on top of that, just being bombarded and having the focus shifted completely away from whatever topic was being discussed, to have that focus shifted away from the topic or the show towards tech issues. On top of that is the fact that, the reality of the show we are trying to put on is not matching up with what we have in our mind's own eye. And so it's kind of a twofold deal. Tech issues, everybody amplifies their criticism immediately and saying, "Oh, tech issues," especially and what makes it even worse, if we go down a level, is when people are complaining about tech issues that are their own fault. Guys that don't have good enough internet to stream 720p live streams are complaining about video lag or audio desync, or people that accidentally muted the stream are complaining about how they can't hear audio, et cetera, et cetera. So, and on top of that, now you have to deal with people that are just like, it's like, Arr! So it's especially trying to put on a live show is, you're walking on that razor's edge. You're trying to put on a good show. More often than not, you're also acting as the show's producer, and the show's also your baby. And you have this idea of it's gonna be perfect, it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be flawless, and then it's not. And it can be demoralizing at times. And on top of that is everybody, from the perspective of the YouTuber, of the entertainer, everybody's piling on about a simple issue that may or may not be the producer's fault. So just a little understanding, I think, goes a long way. If you are upset at Woody about that, or if you've ever been upset at me about that, or you're going to ever be upset about anybody else about that, keep that in mind when you're talking about live entertainment, and especially more amateur live entertainment, because even though we do get paid, we're more amateurish because we don't have a set producer and all that stuff. When we're acting as the talent and the producer, it can get pretty amplified and problematic in terms of dealing with tech issues. So just a little understanding. That's my point. Little understanding goes a long way. But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Remember, likes, favorites, comments, and shares. Your Facebook and Twitter do help me out. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I am out.